My name is Oscar, and I help people raise their vibration and share their gift with the world. And in this video, we're going to look at how you can transform anger into connection and heal the upsets in your relationship. Now, what I'm going to teach you about anger might sound a little bit counterintuitive, but bear with me because it is going to liberate you if you do the practices that I'm going to teach you in this video. So, how I came about this technique was actually during an ayahuasca ceremony. Now, many of you might know ayahuasca as like this DMT substance that will get you to parallel universes or like expand your consciousness to a magical degree. I've done ayahuasca 5 times, and every time she never shows me anything in the terms of visual ways, but she shows me in a feeling kind of way. And the way she shows me is that if I'm doing what she likes me to do, I do not need to purge. But as soon as I sway in a ceremony, I need to purge. And for you who don't know that, that means essentially puking, right? Okay. So in this particular ceremony that I were in, I had sort of a little bit of a like, uh, let's say, um, a struggle or an anger or a pet peeve of one of the teachers actually who held it. And interestingly enough, when I were in this ceremony, ayahuasca wanted me to learn how I could let go of this anger. And as a kind of spiritual guy, right, at that time, I felt that no, everything is light. I shouldn't be angry. It's bad to be angry. I shouldn't feel angry. And so I held my anger back and I never really had an out, an out for it. It just accumulated. I know I could write it down and so forth, but it was more as like it became very stuck inside of me. So during this ceremony, anyway, I had this anger about this guy, and ayahuasca showed me that I needed to be massively angry at him. And so I bursted out in my mind with all my anger, and I was so furious. And because every time, if I didn't do it, ayahuasca would get me to purge. So I just like flowed through it. And as I started to do this, it was like the anger started to let go more and more and more. And I never really grasped like why that were. But I started to see that by me allowing the expression of my anger, the frustration of really directing my anger, in this case, it was against someone, right? My anger started to dissipate. Now, some of you might say that that is a psychic attack, right? It's like you're directing your energy there. But the fact is this, that whether you're directing the energy or the anger or not, the anger is still with that person, right? It is just unconscious. So by you exploring the anger, while you giving expression to it, you're making it conscious, right? And the subconscious is 1,000 or 10,000 more powerful than the conscious mind. So as I started to let go of the anger in that way, a sort of ease started to happening inside of me. And as I'm saying, because the conscious mind is not as powerful as the subconscious, the 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 directed energy attack, or whatever you call it, is not a powerful thing. Plus, ayahuasca, and in that space was also the intention of healing. So the intention of healing lay behind it all. So what I'm trying to say here is that in your relationships, there will be many times where someone does something for you where you feel that, well, you blame them, right? You're upset about them and they trigger you. Now, in this circumstance, some of you might even feel this anger rising up along your spine, and it's like you want to burst out, or you're saying one small word, and that word in itself is so full of that energy, so it instantly starts a big argument, right? So instead of that, you become aware of that anger coming up, and you say to whomever you are, it's like, I need a moment. Or perhaps if you're even more strong about, as if you come a little bit longer on your journey, you might not even need to distance yourself in that situation when you feel that the anger is there, but you allow yourself to have a normal discussion with your partner. And then whenever that discussion has subsided, you find a place on your own and you give yourself the permission to explore that anger. Anyway, when you explore that anger, you will give yourself the permission to explore it fully, which means that you also know that you are exploring it from the purpose of healing, right? And that means that it's not hurtful for the other person, because you're doing it essentially to move through something inside of yourself, right? So when you're doing this, you're sitting down and you're allowing yourself to direct whatever you're feeling, and using the other person or whomever as that trigger, right? Because that is the metaphor that your mind is upset around, right? And so your mind will then come up with images of what it wants to do to that person, if it wants to shout, scream, or whatever it is. Now allow yourself to do it in your mind. And as you will start to do that, you will start to see how it dissipates. And when it has dissipated fully, you will be able to have a sound, conscious discussion with your partner. So that's one way, right? When you do this, you will be able to have a sound, conscious discussion with your partner. But the thing is this, that what you're actually angry at is not your partner, right? As you're pointing fingers, as someone makes you upset, there's three fingers pointing back at you. So there's something about their way of being, the way they are behaving, the way they are doing things, that are reminding you of things inside of you that you have deemed as wrong, right? Their behavior is something that you do not like about the behavior about yourself, right? And there's always similarities. It's not always like the direct thing that they are doing is something that you have done, but there are similarities to it. And as you discover that, you will also start seeing that the anger is actually directed towards you, right? It's not an anger about them. They don't feel bad because you're angry. You are, right? You're the one who's hurting. And by keeping that silent resentment forever, you're just hurting yourself inside. Because again, the three fingers are pointing back at you. So, what is that anger about? Well, it means that there's something inside of you that you're saying that is wrong, right? But the thing is this, that you've only learned that it is wrong. And the reason why you say that it's wrong is because it's a protection mechanism. Because if you did that thing when you were a child, you wouldn't be appreciated by your parents or society or whomever that was really close to you and that you were dependent upon for survival. So they pointed fingers or they screamed at you and said, like, you can't do that, right? And it shakes the little baby, right? So as you're moving through this anger, you will start coming up with memories where other people have said to you that the things that the one that you're blaming your partner for is wrong. And so when you come to those memories, you need to give the permission to that child to explore those qualities, those traits. Because even if they may be deemed as wrong, you know, it's always the excess of them that is wrong. If you take away the excess, there's always a balanced expression for anything. And that balanced quality is what gives you a gift like quality, right? It is what gives you the ability to be balanced in your expression, in your way of being. And that is what's called a skill. So you will become aware of a deeper way of being when you embrace the traits that you blame your partner for, right? By you allowing the anger, right? You're following the pain, you're following the anger first to them. And when that has let go, then you direct it towards yourself and looking at what you don't like about you. And then you find what is it that you don't like about yourself and you resolve it. And when you resolve it, you will get access to the balanced expression of it, which gives you, first of all, you get an understanding of yourself, you get more connection to yourself, but you are also getting access to more of a strength, right? So for instance, for me, I hated when my partner controlled me, right? There was this like, oh, don't do that, don't do that, don't do that, right? So I blamed them for controlling, right? And then I looked at how I've been controlling in certain circumstances. I didn't like myself for that, right? And then I saw how my mother was controlling, and I saw how that control was affected upon me, and how I stopped, or how I said, like, no, I won't be controlling, right? So I put that part unconscious inside of me. But that meant that I didn't get access to being able to be in control of my own life, or control of how I'm structuring a video, making a video, or talking, or anything, right? So you get access to new things when you're following your emotions. You just need to learn how to do it. And that was what ayahuasca showed me, right? Because after that ceremony, I had much more of a deeper understanding around this person's way of conducting a workshop. That it's actually needed to be a little bit, leader like, to actually say to someone, now sit down, relax, and everything, because of everyone who's there. Even if you're making people upset. And that's what I understood from that. So I'd really encourage you to explore your anger, right? In your mind. And if it happens and you can't 100% control it, you see the anger rising up, and then you express to your partner, I just need to say that right now I am feeling anger and I feel I need some time alone for myself. And then we'll get back to this discussion. Is that okay? And then you go do your processing, let it go back, have a dialogue. That's what I would recommend. Okay, guys, that's it for this video. Please comment below what you take out of this video, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the notification bell. And that's it. Peace, love, and joy to all of you. Bye for now.